So all of that being said, let's move into the account disclosures. We're going to start with the account opening disclosures, what needs to be provided to consumers at the front end. And if you've got your materials open on page 1, Roman numeral 2, it's right there in italics. You have to provide these disclosures before the account is open or the service is provided, whichever is earlier. Okay. So, depending on how your system is set up, if you're opening those accounts, you have to provide these account opening disclosures and let your customer know, his at some point in advance what they're getting into. Seems pretty normal, right? Well, there's also some general requirements that come along with all of these account opening disclosures that we're going to talk about. First off, the disclosures have to be clear and conspicuous, which is straight out of the regulation. And basically that's saying that don't hide the ball on these things. All right. You don't want things tucked away. You don't want it in the tiny little mouse print where nobody can read it. This clear and conspicuous standard goes for all of the disclosures that we're talking about today. Also, keep in mind, we want to use consistent terminology. Okay. These disclosures and these regulations and everything involved with deposit accounts are confusing enough if even when we're not shifting terms around and using different terms for the same thing. So make sure you're using consistent terminology. And we'll talk about that in more depth in a little bit later today. They also have to be provided in writing. Okay. So these account disclosures, they have to be provided in writing in a form the customer can keep. So in other words, just splashing it up on an internet page or on an app or something along those lines for them to scroll through and ignore, and then having it disappear forever. That's not how this is supposed to work. It has to be provided to them in a way that they can go back and reference. So whether it's a piece of paper that you hand to them and they can walk out of the branch with it, or it's provided in some other format that it's retrievable. So it has to be in a form that they can keep. Also, you have to clearly identify between accounts. So maybe I come in and I'm opening 3 accounts on the same day. If you're going to combine those disclosures in any way, it has to be very crystal clear which disclosures go with which account. Okay, so make sure that that's not tripping you up. And it also has to reflect the legal obligation. So if you have a separate contract, that needs to match up with what your disclosures are saying. Last thing I want to make sure, if you have multiple customers on one account, the regulation only requires that these account opening disclosures go to one of the customers. Now, that might be uncomfortable for you, so you may decide that, we're going to give it out to everybody, because it is kind of weird if I come in and I'm opening an account with somebody else and you hand the disclosures to them and not me, and then I'm wondering, well, why do you think they're more important than I am? Well, the reg says you have to provide it to one. But you can provide it to more if you need to. Okay.